Happy Tuesday, my non-existent viewers. I just bought a ticket to see Civil War, which is the latest, thriller film from writer and director Alex Garland, and I've been really excited for this film for quite some time. The premise, from the trailers and from what I heard online, looks really interesting. I did finally get around to watching Ex Machina. A few weeks ago, my mom and I traveled to Paris, and on my flight to Paris, I watched Ex Machina. It turns 9 years old this year. It's a film I seriously should have watched sooner because I've heard praises for it over the years, winning the Oscar for best visual effects. I've also seen Annihilation and Men, which, Annihilation, very well done film. Men, saw that movie with my friend Emerald 2 years ago. Had some we enjoyed the film for what it is. It's very, very disturbing. And I know that some people really didn't like that movie. So yeah, Alex Garland, as a director, he's an acquired taste. And I've, just the premise of this film, it's election year 2024, and from what I've been told, this film is about, California and Texas going to war with the rest of the country, and it's supposed to be very, politically charged and whatnot, so, yeah, I'm gonna find a slice of pizza or something to nibble on before the movie starts, and yeah, I'll give the review after I see the film. Alright, so I'm back from seeing the movie. I was a little itsy-bitsy mistake according to the intro. This film is not just California and Texas going to war with the rest of the country. And there's the Florida Alliance, then there's the Loyalist states, which is most of the rest of the country. And there are the Western forces, which is Oregon and Washington, a lot of the more northern and western states. I really liked how this film, if you're walking into Civil War expecting it to be a super politically driven film that is going to influence the way you vote this November, my fellow Americans, since election year, if you're walking this movie expecting this to be a middle finger to a certain political ideology or to take a side on a particular subject, hey, when it's going to push people towards the left or the right, yeah, you're probably going to be disappointed. Civil War is not really about that. It's a dystopia. It's sort of I've heard other, content makers describe it as sort of Walking Dead, but without the walkers. Yeah, I kind of agree with that because just like how America is in real life, or not just America, but people in the West nowadays, there's it's not everything is a left versus right issue. There's different ideologies exist. Everyone's so slurped this whole you're either with me or against me mindset, and I feel this film tried to shatter that mold. Because really this film doesn't follow the enemy, the different soldiers that are shooting at each other on the front lines. It's really more about the photojournalists. There's Kirsten Dunst, who plays Lee, who's the leader of this little gaggle of photojournalists, and her colleague played by Wagner Moura, who's his character name is Joel. And there's Callie Spaney's character named Jesse, who's this young 20s aspiring photojournalist who really looks up to Kirsten Dunst's character Lee. And there's Sammy, who's played by Stephen Henderson, who plays the oldest out of the four leads. The whole movie's basically told from their perspective, which again I think by the whole premise of the film being Civil War, I think was definitely the right call, because I firmly believe that the best films, the best stories, the objectively best stories are character driven and not premise driven. I think this film really does that well. Alex Garland, as the writer and as the director of the film, he gets it. And this, and his previous projects, this was also with A24, the studio. And A24 is an independent studio that makes lower budget films. This film has a budget of $50 million, and I really hope it does well at the box office, because this film, it looks gorgeous. The cinematography, the sound editing, the sound design, the way that the characters look. When characters are beaten up, they look beaten up, and I felt like I was there, in the film, in the story. And I will say this film's pacing is a little, the only issue that I kind of had with Civil War was the pacing, the tone in a few scenes. There are some scenes where there's very just dialogue heavy, and the characters are talking and making plans and trying to figure things out. They counter because the photojournalists, they're going all the way to DC to before the rebel forces can capture the president, which I think it's funny how the president in this film isn't even given a name. He's just called the president. And Jesse Plemons is also in this film.'s only in it for one scene, but I just wanted to say, without spoiling it, of course, it's probably my pick for the best scene in the entire movie. That guy is a absolute show stealer. And yeah, these characters, there's scenes where they're just talking and talking and talking,
Then the next scene, it'll be completely silent, as if the film like there's like I guess Alex Garland like wanted the scene to tell a story, like visual storytelling, but there'll be some scenes where there's no dialogue like at all, like the characters are totally inaudible. And there's like music playing, like needle drops of particular songs. That I guess that was they were trying to convey away. Hey, let's let the scene tell a story with some music thrown over it, which is a little questionable in a few scenes. I will admit this, Civil War is one of those movies that I feel like at least you have to watch more than once to fully understand it, which I think is like sometimes that could go both ways. Like if you feel like the film confuses you about something with its narrative or its themes or its characters, you're just like you walk away being like, oh man, I gotta watch that movie like more than once. Yeah, I'm very intrigued to watch this film a second time because I feel like I have some questions that went unanswered by the films. Like I feel like this film is not for everyone. And like like if you guys are in the know for the mood for like a film that was released very recently, but as also has like a very intriguing premise with solidly written characters, and also like has a very impressive like spectacle despite being a lower budget than most other like blockbuster films you get nowadays. Seriously, give Civil War a shot because I think as of now it's one of my favorite movies of 2024. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 9 stars. It's a fantastic film. Also, I haven't made any videos since my schizo rambling on April Fool's Day, and I just want to apologize for lack of uploads within the past 2 weeks. It's just, I'm really determined to just, like, upload more frequently for the second half of this April. I'm just, yesterday was, like, tax day. I think it's funny how this film, Civil War, was, like, dropped the weekend right before tax day, April 15th. And, yeah, just stay safe, everybody. Thank you for watching this video. I'm determined to, like, now that we're in the second half of April, I hope I can upload, like, more videos before this month ends, like, on a more frequent basis. Yeah, stay tuned for those videos, and yeah, don't forget to subscribe and stay beastly.